I get why people love these all-white PC builds now. This thing just looks so clean. Today I'm going to be showing you how this average office computer was upgraded to a custom all-white gaming PC that doesn't just look aesthetic, but it can also play games in 1440p, all while only costing just above $350. Being straight up with you guys, this build is not meant for you to go out and copy part for part. I love finding used parts for good prices and putting together builds that provide a lot of value for the money spent. I'm constantly looking for deals on PC parts, so I regularly browse places like Facebook Marketplace, news classified sites, and build a PC sale subreddits. In doing this, I came across this computer that's the foundation for today's build. Basically, it's an office computer, but rather than being from a company like Dell or HP that uses a lot of proprietary parts, it had been built using standard off-the-shelf parts, which means it would be easy to upgrade. I made a couple of other videos on this PC, showing you how it performed with no upgrades, and then a $150 upgrade, so this is a continuation of that. Definitely check out those videos if you think more context or upgrade ideas would be interesting to you. So to give some background on the Office PC that I picked up, it came with an Asus Prime B450 motherboard, an AMD Ryzen 3 3200G, 16GB of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 RAM, and then a Corsair CX430 power supply, and that was all in a generic black Antec case. I paid $100 for this computer, and it didn't come with any dedicated GPU or storage included. In reviewing the parts for this system, I decided that I mainly wanted to upgrade to a dedicated GPU, and then probably also upgrade the CPU. The Ryzen 3200G is usable, but there's some pretty good budget CPUs for AM4 that are much faster. And then after that, obviously adding some storage so that it will actually run. I have a few SSDs on hand that I pick up here and there when I see good prices. So for the build, I'm going to be using one of these. It's a 512GB Team Group T-Force Vulkan Z SATA SSD. These can be found on Amazon for about $28 right now, and comparable drives can even be found a couple bucks cheaper. If you don't currently have a drive though, and you're looking to pick something up, you can also get an NVMe drive which has faster speeds than a SATA SSD for about the same price, so I'd recommend going with one of those instead. For the CPU, I was originally going to go with a Ryzen 5 3600 because I see these pop up all the time on my used market, and they're also pretty easy to get on places like AliExpress for good prices. But as I was looking for one, a Ryzen 5 5600X got listed on Facebook Marketplace for just $60. I messaged the seller and offered them $50. They accepted that, and I was able to go pick it up the same day. For the GPU, I wasn't set on anything specific. In my mind, I wanted to keep the total build cost around $300, so I was looking for a solid GPU in the $100 price range. Could be a little bit more or a little bit less. I just wanted to find something that had good value. I was able to find a listing for an RTX 2070 for $110 on one of my local news classified sites. I was the first one to reach out to the seller, and we agreed to meet up later that night. It was a pretty good deal, so I didn't test my luck with bartering or anything like that. When I got there, the seller mentioned that there was a couple of other people that had tried to offer him a little bit more, and also to pick it up sooner than the time that we had agreed to meet. So if this dude hadn't been chill, I probably would have been looking for a different GPU. So that completed everything that I was originally looking for. In the beginning, I was planning on just reusing the Antec case from the Office PC to complete a build that would come in under $300. With these parts, it would make a pretty solid price to performance PC build, but I ran into one issue: the thickness of the GPU. It's practically a 3-slot GPU, and in the M-ATX Antec case, there is very little clearance from the bottom of the case, meaning poor airflow and also hot GPU temperatures. And that's when I remember seeing some cheap PC cases on AliExpress. I've been dabbling a bit in buying stuff off of AliExpress, and I felt like this was another good opportunity to test something out. Around the new year, there was some solid sales on AliExpress, so I decided to pick up this Manmu fish tank style case that was in all white, and then I also picked up some cable extensions as well. For the case, it cost me $31.01 after tax and shipping, and then for the cable extensions, those were $12.84. The one big downside with the case, though, is that it took a full month to be delivered, but it did show up eventually. As for the cable extensions, they're Formula Mod branded, which is a brand I've come across in the past, but I'm still a little hesitant to trust them being off of AliExpress. I will say they do look good, so that's what matters most. A couple days before the case was scheduled to arrive, I picked up a 5-pack of white Thermalright ARGB fans, that would match with the case. This cost me $4.20 per fan, and I used 4, so that comes to a total of $6.80. I also decided to add a tower cooler to the build rather than use the stock cooler. I have a couple of these Cooler Master 212 Spectrum coolers that I had picked up on Amazon for $10 each, so I used one of those for this build just because I thought it looked a little bit better than the stock cooler. I also decided to try my luck at spray painting the GPU shroud so that it would match the case. I took apart the GPU and then taped up a section where the RTX lettering and the RGB lighting was, just to give the card some contrast but then also not cover up the light. When I was done painting, my paint job wasn't the best, but at a distance I do think it looks pretty nice. So finally, a couple days later, the case arrived, and luckily everything came intact. Even the box was in pretty decent condition. So finally time to assemble this baby. While I do that, let's review the price breakdown of the system. So first we have the Office PC, and that includes the motherboard, RAM, and power supply that we'll be using from it. And in total that cost me $100. Then for the storage, it's a Vulkan Z SATA SSD, that's 512 gigabytes. That was $30. For the CPU, I picked up a Ryzen 5 5600X for $50 used. The GPU was an Asus NVIDIA RTX 2070 for $110 used. The case is a Manmu MATX fish tank style case that I picked up for $31.01. The cable extensions are Cable Mod branded, and I picked those up for $12.84. And then I picked up some white ARGB fans for $16.80. And then lastly, this is kind of the optional part, but a CPU cooler. I used a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Spectrum, and that came in at $10.73 after tax. So in total, I spent $361.38, or without the optional cooler, it would be $350.65. And I think it turned out pretty darn good. The case does look great, but there are a couple things I wanted to mention about the case. First, when I started gathering all the parts to start building, I took another look at the case, and something looked off. The case was supposed to be able to support MATX motherboards, and technically it does. It just doesn't have the rightmost grouping of standoffs that most MATX motherboards have holes for. This ends up making your motherboard float over the edge where your fans are inset if you have a motherboard that is a standard width. So the case is a little jank, and when I first saw this I was annoyed because the listing specifically said it was an MATX, and it feels a bit closer to an ITX case in my opinion. This layout also limits kind of where you can route the 24-pin power cable, so the way that it's routed for me makes it look off even more. After installing everything though, it's not that bad in my opinion. It looks a bit strange at first, especially when you first notice it, but the more I look at it personally, the more it grows on me. It keeps the case compact and still provides enough cooling. There was another thing that became pretty clear to me as I started building in the case, and that is that it's made from pretty cheap materials. That's to be expected, honestly. There's noticeable panel gaps here and there, and it's made out of a very lightweight, thin sheet metal. Without the glass panels installed to give it some structure, it feels even more flimsy. But with all the parts in and the tempered glass installed, it's solid enough. Enough about the looks though. Let's get into how this PC performs. First off, for cooling, I will mention that I originally installed all the case fans as exhaust fans. Typically that wouldn't be the way you'd want to install them, but the temps look pretty good for me, and I think I might keep them this way just for the time being because I like how it looks. But long term, if you want to avoid the case getting pretty dusty, it might be useful to switch the front fans to be intake fans rather than exhaust fans. As far as the actual temperatures though, I saw temperatures during gaming range from the mid-60s to mid-70s, so it stayed surprisingly cool. I was expecting it to be a little bit warmer just based off of my testing in the Antec case from earlier. As for the games, I tested a mix of titles at 1440p at various settings. Starting out with Marvel Rivals at 1440p low settings, I saw an average that sat around 74 FPS, and 1% lows around 60. Plenty smooth for aimbot ultimates, and playing against bots. For Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at 1440p balanced settings, and at a native resolution and no upscaling, the built-in benchmark averaged 52 FPS. I tried it with DLSS 3 also, and that average jumped up to the 80s. Of all the games, this is probably the one that I would drop down the resolution to 1080p to get more frames. But that'd kind of be up to your personal preference. Moving on to Final Fantasy 16, at 1440p high settings with DLSS enabled, I saw an average around 60 FPS with 1% lows in the 30s. This game's pretty demanding, so I feel like this would be a pretty solid experience for me personally, and with it being a single player game, I feel like those settings strike a good balance, and you are hitting that 60 FPS mark. Next I tested Forza Horizon 5 at 1440p high settings with no upscaling, and the game ran at an average of 96 FPS with 1% lows in the 80s. Lastly, testing Fortnite at 1440p DX12 low settings with the view distance set to high and then 100% resolution scale. I saw an average around 220 FPS with 1% lows in the 150s. This could definitely be used competitively, and if you're trying to get higher frame rates and you have a 1080p higher refresh rate monitor, I'm sure you could push those frames a bit higher. So that does it for the games. Honestly, I think this PC is incredible. It was cheap, it looks fire, even if there are some quirks to that fire. And then on top of that, you can pretty much play anything you throw at it. It still makes me smile when I think about how we went from an office PC to this all-white, pretty clean-looking gaming PC. And a 1440p gaming PC at that. For $350. I love it. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. If you have questions about the build, definitely leave some comments down below and I'll check on those. Thanks for checking out the build, and we'll see you later.